Now, a high court here in Abuja has restricted participants in the protest to the MKO Abiola Stadium, also known as the National Stadium. The court issued the order today while delivering a ruling in an ex parte application brought before it by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. He had applied for an order of interim injunction restraining the 5 leaders of the protesting groups from gathering or parading themselves along any road, streets, offices and public premises within the FCT between August 1 and August 10 or any other day after that. The minister claimed that intelligence reports indicated that some protesters intend to cause havoc and irreparable damage to public facilities and disturb public peace.
The Honorable Minister of the FCT, based on the credible intelligence about the proposed protest tomorrow, and also based on the letter received from an organization called Take Back Movement, FCT, threatening to invade the villa, asking the minister to provide toilet and so many other things, including removing the barbed wire to the office of the president for them to visit the president. He has approached the court, FCT High Court, and the court, in its wisdom, recognized their right to protest. Recognized their constitutional right to protest peacefully. But then, in view of the exigencies of the moment and for the security reason, the Honorable Court has directed, giving an order that they should be allowed to use Moshood Stadium, Abuja, for protest and not any other place. He has also directed that the security agencies, that the Inspector General of Police, Director General National Security and Civil Defense Corps, Chief of Army Staff, Chief of Air Staff, Chief of Naval Staff, and all security agencies to provide security for them to protest peacefully there. And then most importantly, they should give them adequate protection to protest within the area allowed by the court.
Right, we're joined now in the studio by Professor of Law Anthony Abazwere. But first, let's cross live to our correspondent Ferdinand Duruoha for a feel of the nation's capital, Abuja, on the eve of the protest. If we have Ferdinand there. Ferdinand, good to see you. Now, just give us a feel of what the mood is on the eve of this 10 days of protests.
Well, thank you so much. And you already said it is the eve of the End Bad Governance protest. And this is exactly how I will love to start. Well, I will just ask my camera man to indeed just pan to my left. And well, this just gives us an idea of exactly what the protest is all about. Now, we are talking about residents of the FCT. Well, after a hard day of work, well, first thing, you want to try as much as possible to join the queue so that you can get feel, maybe to find your way home. Now, that's exactly one of the reasons why some Nigerians have decided that they will be hitting the streets of different states to come out and protest. Now, let's talk about what we know. Well, from what we know, we know that the security operatives have already discouraged this exercise. Now, they've come out to say, well, sadly, they know that this is an exercise that can be hijacked by hoodlums. In fact, well, the information from the Inspector General of Police is that there is intel that the protest will be hijacked, and that's exactly why they're asking the protesters to indeed stay home and call off the protest. But that isn't happening. The protest is going on. Well, that's exactly as much as we know coming from the force headquarters earlier today. Well, also something did happen just a couple of hours back. Well, then came that court order restricting the protesters to the Moshood Abiola National Stadium here in Abuja. Well, as much as we know from the meeting yesterday that the IGP did hold with some of the organizers of the protest, to be very precise. Well, I know that SAN Femi Falana and SAN they were part of that meeting, and from exactly what we gathered, it was all about the fact that the police were asking that they provide routes, or perhaps that they are restricted to a point, and for them, they say it's a constitutional right, getting on the streets, and that's exactly what they hope to do. But let's see exactly how far, the court order today will go. Will they be restricted to the National Stadium? Well, we do not know, as much as that would happen. And from what we have gathered, well, you talk about apprehension in the city. Well, that's exactly what it feels like for the Federal Capital Territory Authority. Well, they've asked workers, that means the local government staff, they've asked them to stay at home. So we do not expect to see a crowd in the local government offices tomorrow. And then also earlier today, well, we did see security operatives were putting some kind of checkpoints along the major entrance to the city, well, ensuring that they see people coming in, they check vehicles coming into the city, and also vehicles are also leaving the city. But those are the kind of measures that we've seen from security operatives. And then also, well, earlier today also, well, we did see getting the psychology of residents in the city. Well, it's some sort of mixed feeling, while some of them are not really happy exactly about the ongoings, but then they are not too comfortable getting on the streets, and that's because of the apprehension that has indeed come with this. Will it be violent? Will it not be violent? Well, look, that's exactly the situation, and that's exactly the question the residents and protesters are asking.
Well, I think that's a fine one, Ferdinand. For now, we'll let you be. You also cover security, and you've been able to also delve into some security concerns there. Ferdinand Duruoha, who's out there on the street, also letting you know that the security agencies are already out mounting some form of guards around the city.